of that?
Well, I'm kind of torn because I personally would love to be a part of more projects just to have something to do, but I hesitate to be a part of any digital recording opera. This tradition was born for 500 years out of live performance, live connection, and as this all unfolded, I have a couple of friends who are sound engineers, so I've been talking to them about what kind of investment I would need to make to really record my voice in a proper way. And most of them were saying, the difficulty with opera singing and classical music in general is that if you want to record it properly, you need thousands of dollars worth of equipment. And of course, I mean record it properly. And what I mean by that is so that when you're listening to the digital track that I've made for you, that it sounds as close to an acoustical hall with my full voice and a full orchestra. So all of the embouchure, all of the various intonations of the instruments, the phonetic waves that are caught on different microphones. So I was looking at a base investment of $2,500, $3,000 for 4 or 5 microphones, right?
Honestly, that's not that bad. Like for what I thought.
Yeah, but that's just the microphone technology, right? So that's not including I have to get that for my pianist who's not going to be in the same room as me too, And so just like trying to make opera a digital experience, I think can work, but I think it has to be focused around making great quality audio recordings because this is all about sound. It's about the music.
Right,
and then trying to make some artistic video on top of it. But if we're going to compete with the digital world, we're 100 years behind film. We're 20 years behind YouTube even, So trying to just like jump in last minute with cell phone technology and, a recording device like this, I think it serves to do what happened to journalism and newsprint media in the early 90s when the internet was born. And everybody in journalism at that time period was really afraid that they were going to lose their jobs. So they started giving away free journalism and material constantly online. And now we basically have no journalistic integrity in Canada because everything is pay to play. Yeah. So I worry that this pandemic is going to do something very similar in the arts where we're very sensitive artists. So we constantly need to be in the spotlight. And so with a pandemic that's going to last 6-9 months to a year, even before a vaccination is found safely, we have artists who are just throwing themselves and their art online for free.
Yeah.
And what I think about in that regard is, you see the lovely comments on Facebook and YouTube of people saying, we appreciate you so much. We love you so much. But I think it's no different than what we're doing with our frontline care workers, where we clap and we praise them. But what we should be doing is paying them more, taking care of them better. And so I think what's going to happen is very similar to the arts, is we're going to get a pat on the back for giving the world free art for 9 months. Yeah. And then we're going to be paid less and respected less overall as a result. Yeah.
You think? Well, I think that I'm sorry, but I think that's already happening. That's already happening. And it's too bad, but I think it's also a governmental issue and a technology issue. I don't know what the solution is, but I mean, even just services like streaming and all that, you're better off doing a reggaeton that you can actually like compose really easily. To be honest with you, I've done it, so I know how it is.
Yeah.
Than singing opera, and you have more streams, and then you have even a possibility of making some money there. And even at that, it's really bad. It's 0.00 something what you get for each stream, and it's basically I don't know how this can be legal. That's been my question during the COVID, and not only for Spotify but Facebook too. They are using the artist content to bring more people to Facebook, and nobody gets paid. And then they don't even do only that. They do that to manipulate people into buying something as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it's a bigger issue, and the government has to participate on this because it's basically making theft legal. I'm sorry, that's how I see it. I don't know if you agree with me, but
no, I totally agree. This is something like I remember my high school music teacher was big into rock and roll. So he was warning us even back then. He said, you know, Tom Petty doesn't own most of his music. So Tom Petty can't just go do concerts and play his own music. Someone else can sue him if he does that. Because when he was a young man, someone said, here's a great contract. Yeah, well, this is a lot of pop musicians, pop, rock, like mainstream media musicians. They don't own the majority of their music. And so they get produced, they get made, they go on tours, and they're essentially paid for their live performances and nothing afterwards. Like if you're an artist on Spotify that has 1 billion views, maybe you're seeing a little sliver of that income.
Yes.
And it's been the way of the music industry in North America for far too long, since like the 30s, even going as far back as that. So I totally agree. The government should step